Hey everybody, it's Julie. I'm gonna have to apologize for the quality of this video. I'm making it with my built-in webcam, and I'm doing so without leaving my bed because I'm cold and I don't want to get out of bed. So I try to do a new video for this channel once a month, and I'm really just out of time in January, so I'm just gonna have a little rant at you about something that's been bothering me, and I will give you a subject that I have been rambling about before in my blog. So today I'm talking about people who think that editing isn't important and that it isn't their job as the author to send in a polished manuscript, and that really gets under my skin. And I'm about to tell you why, okay? So, why is editing so important? So I've encountered more than my fair share of amateur writers who are really, really resistant to this idea that their draft manuscripts should be proofread and error-free when they're pitching, like when they're sending in a query letter or pitching to a publisher. It really used to shock me. It doesn't really shock me anymore, but yeah, there's a lot of writers who honestly just they want to approach mainstream publishing, but they think the editing part and the proofreading part isn't an important part of their job, and I'm here to tell you that that is not true. I think the opinion might come from the misconception that editing is nothing but running a spell checker. And even though they probably know on some level that it can't catch everything, the real problem is they think spelling is the only important part of catching their errors, and that they think correcting the spelling is basically not necessary for the artist to trouble themselves with. So, what they're thinking is there's probably an editor slash literary janitor out there to do that for me, and I'm just going to say no, there isn't. When you are a published author, yes, your publisher has editors, generally plural, and they pay for the work and they handle distribution of the materials. And you're assigned an editor at the publisher, and they do comb through the book to make sure that everything matches their style guide. But the thing is, that sort of treatment is granted to authors who do their job well enough to get to that point. And you can only do that by treating your material like form is as important as content. So nobody in publishing wants to hear that editing isn't your job. Nobody in publishing accepts that it's the story that matters, to the point that you shouldn't have to fix the spelling and grammar errors. If you know you're not good at it, or you think you are but everyone tells you you're not, what you do is you get someone to proof it for you. And you don't just stomp around insisting that this particular part of making a readable product just isn't your responsibility. That would be like saying a musician who plays and sings poorly is deserving of a recording contract because the messages of the songs are so vital. That can be true in isolated instances, but maybe there's one part of something that's so important that the usual standards don't apply, but it's not up to you to identify yourself as the exception to the rule. If you want the respect and attention of people who pull the strings in this industry, you need to play by their rules and do that to the best of your ability. Most of the people who think that their work is so world shaking that they should be allowed to break all the rules right out of the gate are mistaken anyway. So, also, using correct grammar and spelling is not just a preference of pedantic whiny babies. If you mix up your words and spell things wrong and fail to use punctuation, you really do make your work more difficult to read, and it pulls readers out of the story to focus on your words. And you want it to be effortless for them to read. You want them to get lost in it, and you don't actually want them to get lost. It is your responsibility as an author to deliver a polished package when you're aiming for publication. So this unpolished video is telling you that. And if you treat editing like it's not actually part of the craft, the professionals you submit to are unlikely to see your work as a diamond in the rough. Competitive markets have too many authors who are submitting the work that they took time to polish, and that they cut it out of the rough themselves. So there's a very good chance that if you throw diamond in the rough onto their desks, they'll see nothing but a clod of dirt and throw it back at you. So keep that in mind and get a good proofreader if you're not any good at it yourself. Thanks for listening, and good luck with that editing, though.